Hi, welcome to our module on educational methodology and practice. I promise that is the last jargon I'm going to use. My name is Maccabee Avishor, and I serve as an associate director at the YU School Partnership. We're really excited to learn with you this week. The goal of these next 2 weeks will be to provide you with the tools and support to create an outstanding, backwards designed unit that your students are going to love and that you're going to love teaching. So if you're not familiar with backwards design at all, I highly recommend that you do some separate learning about this in order to firmly ground yourself and give you the background and language that you'll need to succeed in this work. I've provided some links and a reading on the Moodle site. I'll review some basic language we'll be using here to make sure that we're on the same page. First of all, backwards design means we'll start our unit and lesson planning with the end in mind. This is best captured, I think, in the idea that we sing in Lecha Rodia on Friday nights, Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila. We finish with what we conceived of originally. So a backwards design lesson includes a few elements. Big ideas. Some people call these enduring understandings, but I prefer to call them big ideas, and here's what I mean. These are the ideas that you'd like your students to know in 40 years from now. They are the central concepts of knowledge that have lasting value beyond your classroom. These aren't really truths per se, but they are true. And they're not absolutely true. Quite the opposite, actually. These are statements that may be true, but are what I like to call intellectually irritating, meaning that there's something about them that is up for debate. For example, in social studies, we might say American democracy is designed to promote the freedom of the American people. I'll say it one more time. American democracy is designed to promote the freedom of the American people. That's a big idea. Why? Because on the surface, of course, it's true. But if we think deeply about this idea, we can absolutely poke holes in it and ask questions about it. In fact, that's one of the purposes of big ideas. We want kids to feel some dissonance, and we want them to grapple with that dissonance. For Jewish studies teachers, a lot of statements in Pirkei Avot are great examples of big ideas. They are true, but subject to disagreement. Next element is essential questions. So these are the types of open-ended questions that help our students think deeply about the content. What Calvin is doing here is answering a non-essential question. So much of what we ask our students to do is spit back information that they were supposed to have memorized. And Calvin's quip here is pretty powerful when you think about it. The key feature of essential questions is that they have no right answer, and that they should promote sustained inquiry, meaning question after question after question. For example, thinking of our big idea earlier about American democracy, one might ask, to what extent has American democracy really made us free? Sink your teeth into that one for a while. The next element is desired results. These refer to the student behaviors you'll be able to observe at the end of a successful lesson and unit, the targets you want them to hit. You may have heard these referred to as SWBATs, which are SWBAT, students will be able to's. And as we design our lesson, we have to keep our focus on what we want our students to be able to do as a result of participating in our lesson. We try to avoid words like know and understand, which are really hard to measure. We prefer words that state how the kids will actually demonstrate knowledge and understanding. And that brings us to our next term. Our next element is acceptable evidence. This refers to the types of things students will do in order to demonstrate their knowledge and understanding, really their mastery of the lesson. We'll determine how we'll be able to tell that students have mastered what we hope they have learned. Our final element is learning experiences. And that is what will happen during the lesson that will guide the students through the process of learning. All the activities you use, the material and text you marshal, that's all part of the learning experience. And we want to think about how we design those experiences to maximize the learning. Now that we've reinforced our shared language, we're going to move on to the practical work. In the next steps in this module, you'll be planning your first unit of the school year. So we're thinking ahead a couple of months. First, I'm going to have you write a bit about what your first unit is actually about. You'll discuss what the content is, how it fits into the scheme of things in the year, why the kids should be learning that subject at all, and why they should be learning it now, meaning why should kids in that class at that time of year in their development be learning that subject. Then we'll move forward with the process of backwards design by identifying big ideas and essential questions for your unit. Each one of you is going to be invited to set up a time to Skype with me to review your work and to provide one-on-one coaching. Then you'll translate those big ideas into unit goals and acceptable evidence. You'll set up time to meet with a peer in this course to review each other's work. So next week, in the second week of this course, we'll be turning all of this into actual lesson plans. We're going to start with your first lesson of the unit to get you on your way. I look forward to learning with you. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. You can also text me if you have something that needs immediate attention, and my email address and cell phone number are there on screen. Looking forward to learning together. All the best.